Welcome to my ground. I'm currently stretching on my back after jujitsu while we go through this nutrition sheet to get really clear on how this is going to look each and every week. So, what I'm doing here, so this is my starting macro sheet that I got for Precision Nutrition. I am on page number 4, and I'm going to use these values to really set up my nutrition and get very accurate with what I'm trying to do here. So, these values from my nutrition sheet are going to go into these top columns. So these correspond to the protein, the carbs, and the fat. If I put these in correctly, the calories should be equal. So this says I should have 2,480 calories a day. If I go over here, yep, it matches up. So I did it correctly. Now, this is really fun because you can come here and you can really get realistic on what meals are going to look like or what they should look like. I have a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh, I eat twice a day. Well, if you're eating twice a day and you're trying to hit my personal protein target right now, then I mean, you're going to look at, over 100 grams of protein per meal, which, I mean, that's astronomical. Like I can't do that. It's very uncomfortable. There's no way. So now I can kind of play around. I can see like what number of meals per day make these numbers realistic. Okay. And getting a little lower, 80 grams, still kind of high. So that's still a lot of food, a lot of protein to eat at one time. 4, now we're starting to get into the range I'm comfortable with. In fact, from trial and error, I know about 600 calories a meal is what makes me feel the best. The cool part is as I change this number, not only are these ones changing, but also my serving size per meal in ounces of these different things that I need. So all the different meats are here on the side. We have lean meats. We have meats with more fat. I call those protein plus fat. Over here, we list out the major starches that people use. There's a couple of odd ones in here like acorn squash, butternut squash. If you use something regularly that's not on here, please absolutely tell me and let me know, and we'll get it adjusted. Okay. And we have all of our fruits, including avocado, kind of an oddball, but avocado is a fruit. And this is going to be a fat, obviously not a carb. Just a quick guideline here: use minimal fat to cook each meal. Some marinades will need a few tablespoons of fat, which is okay. Just kind of estimate it. Don't stress about it, just briefly estimate it. This is a process known as a food matrix. Basically, the food matrix is a style of food prep where you don't have to find lots of recipes and you can just batch cook meats. So I can, cook chicken breasts and I can cook some vegetables. The green ones are starchy vegetables. The blue ones are non-starchy vegetables, so lower glycemic, lower calorie. My, classic starches are over here, my potatoes, rice, etc. These are the different fats I can cook with. And now these are some suggestions for herbs and spices. If you use like prepackaged seasonings, that's great. That would go in here. And then the rules are very clear. I'm going to pick a protein. So I'm going to pick a lean protein and I'm going to pair that with, some broccoli, and I'm going to eat chicken, broccoli. That's rice. That's funny. That's always the classic that people reference. So you can see over here, green protein by a blue and or a green vegetable. A blue protein, I would only combine with a blue vegetable simply because, once again, I want to get this. This is my minimum target each meal, and this is my maximum that I don't want to go over. Now, don't stress about these numbers, as particularly the protein. Just do your best to get in this range. If you're eating like half the amount of protein that we want you to eat, ideally, this is very normal for people when they're starting out. So it's not about like, if I'm used to eating 100 grams of protein, asking me to eat 233 is going to be unrealistic. It's going to make me fail. Well, we're going to have a strategy for getting up to this number in a few weeks, along with our calories if your calories are low. So just understand that the reason that these pairings exist is because these meats have more fats in them. So I might start going over my energy target for my meals and for my days if I'm getting more calories, more energy in the form of fat from these meats. And then I'm also combining them with a starch. This is where, if you think of meals that are really heavy and fattening, like Thanksgiving, pizza, certain types of Hispanic dishes, it's generally going to be a lot of fat and then a high amount of starch. We're jacking up the blood sugar and putting a ton of calories in the body. So to get leaner, healthier, we're going to reverse that process and we're going to balance out our energy while keeping the protein really high. This is the planning sheet. This is just the basic steps to take each and every week. You're going to schedule a time and day to plan this. If you're, in a relationship or married, plan that together. Am I going to use the recipes? I'm going to find recipes and I'm going to be providing a recipe list. In addition to recipes you want, you can submit requests and we will find them and make sure they're in there. Am I going to do the food matrix approach? Am I going to do a combination of both? This is tailor-made to your week. And we're going to dive into all these topics in future emails and future training. So don't stress out about getting it all perfect right this second. Am I going to shop online using something like Instacart? I'm going to go to stores. If yes, what day and time am I going? What day and time would I do my online shopping? What stores am I going to use? And then we have our seasoning section, and feel free to change all this. Now, these Instacarts are based in Reno, Nevada, so obviously you don't want to use these links, but these are giving ones that I have found that meet a certain criteria, which is my target is 25 calories per ounce. One thing I'll say is that food labels get very deceptive, and I believe that's intentional, but not every food label is going to show you ounces, calories per ounce. Some might show you calories per tablespoon, some might be calories per teaspoon. So you have to just make sure that everything is lined up there. And I should put some notes here real quick. 1 ounce, 2 tablespoons, and then 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. Okay. If it's not in calories per ounce, it's simple. You take the number of calories per serving, you times it by the servings in the bottles, and then you're going to divide it by the ounces of that in the bottle, and that's going to give you the calories per ounce. Now, there is one thing you have to update on here. If you're more of an Excel pro than I am, then feel free to jump on in and create some formulas for this. These numbers right here, my ounces per serving numbers, came from the first sheet. It came from this column right here. And so I'm going to make this match, this on my planning sheet. Make sure it's the same type of meat that you found on the previous one. This first column is going to be for you. And then if you have, family members, significant others, you can put them here so that you can prep for everybody all at the same time. This sheet adjusts also. So if I decide I'm going to, I really want some sirloin steak and I'm going to have that for 3 lunches, then I enter 3, my number of servings. And over here, it's going to auto-populate the number of ounces I need to buy. Oh, I know my kids are going to eat steak also. And for them, it's going to be 8, plus my wife. So I can start to kind of do this here. We're going to all eat together. So I can start to include family members in this process as well. So feel free to adjust all this. There's one for every column in here for every type of meat. I didn't do this for starches and vegetables because those are going to be thinking, like if you saw that nutrition sheet from Precision Nutrition, this is a great way of estimating this as well. If you want to avoid calorie tracking, that's 100% great. All you got to do is track the hand servings per day. And so that is going to be measured right here. But when you go shopping, it's a lot easier to look at starches, fruits, etc., and to compare those to the size of your hand. So you don't have to, weigh everything out. You can just estimate it and make sure you have enough of those. Make sure to send your questions, post them in the group. If anything in this training is unclear, but this is going to make things so much easier on you because really a couple of these things like setting up these numbers right here, you only have to do once. You may have to adjust, like we said, you may have to adjust the meals. If the first week you say you're going to do 3 and then you're finding that, that's just not going to be working for you, then you might have to adjust those a little bit. All right, I'm going to shut up now. Go through that, post your questions, feedback, and then enjoy the process. I'll talk to you again soon.